Well, welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great, cold, blustery day after that monumental snowstorm. So hopefully everybody in the northeast is doing well. Had a call this morning, and I guess Boston got 16, 18 inches of snow and blizzard conditions. So anyway, hope you're doing well. Mother Nature missed us here, but they're punishing me with super cold weather. I thought my eyes were gonna freeze shut today, and and then of course, as most of my friends know, Mother Nature and I have a relationship. But anyway, so today's topic is strategic planning. How do you plan for your business? And I want to define strategic planning around a few kind of key concepts. And we're looking out 6, 9, 12, 2 years type of planning for your business. And so we'll keep the context today in the scale of a year. What are we going to do since it's the new year? What are we doing for our businesses right now to make us uber successful? Are we going to do the same thing that we did last year with just a modest movement of improvement, or are we really going to set our sights on something greater? So today, again, in everything we do, we always talk about mindset, because that's what differentiates successful people from others. And the one thing that we always like to do is keep your vision and your goals in front of you at all times. And we're going to talk about how to set those and whatnot. We have people print it out, keep it by their desk, have post-it notes on their windshields. We have the whiteboards in here. It's how we do it. But we always keep really focused on that, because when you're focused on your goals, you're going to allow your subconscious to engage and really help you figure these things out. So let's just talk about this for a minute. Focus. One of the things with business owners, especially the small business owner, is focusing on one thing. Like, what's that one thing you do really, really well that drives a lot of value, and getting that done right, so that then you can move on to the next thing and kind of cascade these things, because where your focus is where your success is going to be. And if we're diffuse about our success on doing too many things, and I've learned that the hard way myself, then you're not really a master of any. So we'll talk about that. And then you need to really focus on, what does success look like for you? How do you define that? Because that's going to come into how you're going to measure your success throughout this. And then finally, in Monday, we're going to really focus on tactics. But what are the tactics you're going to apply to achieve that success? And the thing that I love about the tactics and the things that we train people on and coach them on is, how are you going to measure them? So, just to give a little bit of a story, in 2014, I had the bright idea of doing an Ironman, did the Princeton 70.3 later that year. So it was about this time, well, maybe a little bit earlier, I was sitting down watching some ESPN. They had the World Championship on at Kona, and I decided right then that I was going to do this Ironman, and it was fantastic. But the thing that was interesting about this, and it's a metaphor for business as well, is that we had to put a plan together. Now, there's a trap with planning, because a lot of people over-plan. They have to-do lists, and I have to do these 500 things in order to achieve that. And what I like to do is set up milestones for your goal, right? Because those milestones are going to allow you flexibility to achieve them, to measure them, and to swap them out if those aren't working. So, we develop the plan with milestones, with measurable milestones. We talk about and measure the progress. And here's the key point, is that, are your activities, are the tactics that you're using working, right? So you can set that up and you can measure it continually. So if we have some tactics here, maybe it's your marketing tactics, you're doing networking, social media, partnerships. We'll talk more about those in specifics next week. But now you need to have the items to say, how am I measuring the success of these things? One of the things that I see a lot of is business owners are like, this is what we do, and when it's not working, then they just do that same thing harder, and they put more energy into things that aren't working, versus being self-aware enough to say, well, this isn't really working, and let me make a change into something that is working. And what I love about this is when you have your plan and when you have these milestones set up and you're measuring them, it gives you the control to make decisions. It keeps you in control of your destiny. And that's a huge point that I want to make today, because when you're making decisions, then you're leading. So coming back to my Ironman story, when I was doing that, one of the things that I really sucked at was swimming. And so we had the plan, and we're measuring milestones along the way. Am I hitting them? Am I not? And for the first 4 months, I really wasn't hitting them. And what it allowed us to do was to change the tactics. It allowed us to come back and say, all right, well, now we're going to swim twice a day, or we're going to change the workouts, or we're going to change the tactics in that portion of the training. And it allowed us to achieve our goal, which we did complete. So when we start to come back to looking at the tactics, how are you measuring them? All right, are you measuring them on a daily, a weekly, or monthly basis? And I like to go down, for our business, what we do is we measure everything on a weekly basis. And in this afternoon's podcast, we're going to go into a little bit more detail on those things. So if you don't catch this, we'll be doing a summary of the week's activities via the podcast. And on our board over there, what we do is every week we start to look at, did we do what we set out to do? Number one, did we complete those tasks? And did they generate any of the desired results? So one, did you do the tasks? And two, did they get the results you wanted out of that? So for example, if we're doing networking, how many networking meetings did we get to? How many leads did that generate, right? Because this is what you want to be measuring, is the effectiveness of those activities. So that's what we have for today. Next week, we're really going to get into the tactics on Monday. We're going to talk about those things. If you missed us on Wednesday this week, I'm just looking over there, we did mindset and leadership. So mindset's always a big thing on how we're training our minds to be successful. Because when you combine your mindset with proven tactics that work, you have explosive growth. And then next week we're going to do marketing, and we're going to talk about your niche and your personas and how to address each one of those through the various tactics. And then we're going to get into some social media next week as well, and give some overviews for people on how to leverage that effectively as well. So really glad you were able to watch today, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thanks.